As you move into more complex data tracking, you'll most likely want to collect data about specific interactions with your content. You would collect that data with what's known as an event tracker. Events are user interactions with your content that can be tracked independently. This includes things like downloads, video plays, and button pushes. In order to start tracking, you need to add event tracking codes to your site to start to see data in your events report. Adding in this tracking code and understanding it is beyond the scope of this course, but I want you to know how to look to find out how to do it, and for you to understand why it would be a good idea. The first thing we'll do is head on over to the Overview report, which is in the Events group of the Behavior category. In the upper right-hand corner is a graduation cap. If you click on it, Google is going to give you some information on event tracking. And you can find more documentation by clicking on the Event Tracker Guide or the Implement Events link. Let's choose Implement Events. And this takes us to Google's developer documentation. Now, what you need to know is every event has 4 different components. They are category, action, label, and value. The first 2 are required, and the second 2 are optional. And this is what they mean. The category is typically the object that was interacted with, like a play button or a download button. The action is either a click or a download. The label can be any way you'd like to categorize the thing, and the value is what the interaction is worth in dollars. So in the case of a movie on your site that sends an event hit every time someone clicks play, the category is video, the action is to play, the label could be the movie's name, and the value you'd have to set based on what it's worth to your business for someone to view it. You should definitely consider event tracking, but to do so, you'll need to interact with Google's developer documentation. Now I'd like to touch on the different events reports. The first is the Overview report, and the graph shows us the total events over time. If we scroll down to the table, we can see different event categories, actions, and labels to get a quick sense of what's going on. And we can see that we had 171 events in the time period selected. Of those, 151 were unique. They didn't have any values for events, so the value data fields will be blank or 0. Then we can take a look at our top events report. This shows us which categories are really driving our events. We can also look at events as they relate to pages on the Pages report. Now with this, we can see what pages are driving events. And that is helpful, especially if you have multiple pages with the same event and you want to know where the majority of the events are coming from. We can also look at the events flow report. And this is similar to the behavior flow report. And with this, we can see how users move through our site and trigger events. I have the country dimension up so we can view the flow as it relates from where the user originated. Events are very useful, especially with larger sites where you have multiple interactions that you want to track. I highly recommend that you spend some time with events as you get more familiar with analytics.